Good morning. I am Dr.K.Sumathy, Assistant Professor and Head Department of Economics, K.S. College of Arts and Science. Today we discuss the topic of demand analysis. Every business firm produces a product for the market in anticipation of demand. If its anticipation of demand is correct and if the price gets good, it will earn profit. Otherwise, it will incur loss. Analysis of demand is a basic subject in business economics. Meaning of demand. People refers to the demand means wants or needs or desire. But in economics, desire should not be called demand. The desire should be backed by necessary purchasing power, that is money. Definition. According to Professor Benham, the demand for anything at a given price is the amount of it which will be bought per unit of time at that price. Demand is always for the defined quantity at price and for a given period of time. Demand function. The demand function which shows the functional relationship between the demand for the commodity and its several determinants. Dx equal to functions of Ps, Px, M, T, W and N. Px stands for the quantity demanded of goods X. Px, price of goods X. Ps, price of related goods. M, money income of the consumer. T, taste and preference of the consumers. W, wealth of the consumer. N, number of factors. Demand schedule. Demand schedule is a table statement showing how much of a commodity is demanded in a particular market at different prices. In the below table, price of orange ₹5, the quantity demand is 100. Suppose the price decrease 5 to 1, the quantity demanded increase 100 to 500. Demand curve. Demand curve refers to the quantity demanded by the consumer at different levels of prices. In fact, demand curves are only a graphical representation of demand schedule. In the below table, x-axis represents demand, y-axis represents price. DD is the demand curve. If the commodity rate ₹5, the demand is low. The commodity price decrease to 5 to 1, the quantity demanded increase to 100 to 500. Determinants of demand. There are many economic, social and political factors are determined which generally influence the demand for a commodity. First one, price of the commodity. The foremost significant factors which influence the demand is the price of the commodity. It comes in an inverse change in the demand for the commodity. Next, price of related goods. Demand is also influenced by the change in the price of the related goods. The goods are two types, namely substitute goods or complementary goods. Substitute goods are goods those which can be replace each other in use like tea and coffee, while the complementary goods are those which are jointly demanded as petrol and car. Next, income of the consumer. This is another factor which influence the demand. Generally, there is direct relationship between the income of the consumer and his demand. Next one, distribution of wealth. The amount demanded of the commodity is also influenced by the distribution of wealth in the society. If there is an equal distribution of income in the society, the demand will high, and in the case of inequality, demand will be low. Next one, taste and preference. These factors influence the demand to the great extent. They include fashion, habits, customs, advertisement, climate, new invention, etc. Other things being equal, as the taste of the consumer goes up, demand will also increase. Next, government policy. This is also responsible for influencing the demand for the commodity. The government imposes tax on various goods that leads to an increase in the price of the goods, as a result of which demand goes down. State of business. The demand for commodity also depends on business conditions prevailing in the country or region. In the boom condition, there is an increasing in the demand. During the period of depression, the market demand will decrease. Next, population growth. The growth of population is another determinant. In Increase in population leads to increasing demand to all types of goods, where decreasing population means less demand for such commodities. Last one, expectation of consumers about the future. If the consumer anticipates rise in price in the near future, they will start demanding larger quantity of a particular product and vice versa. Demand distinction. Demand analysis depends on the nature of goods and the types of demand. First one, producer goods and consumer goods. Consumer goods are produced for direct consumption by the consumers, while the producer goods are used in the production of other goods. For example, food is the consumer goods and as to direct consumption. The demand for factors of production or produced goods is having the indirect demand. Next one, durable and non-durable goods. Durable can be stored for a longer time, while put to repetitive uses, while non-durable and perishable goods can be used only once for its time being. These will meet only the current demand. The demand for durable goods is likely to be derived demand. Next, derived demand and autonomous demand. When the product is demanded consequently on the purchase of parent product, demand is called derived demand. Generally, the dependent products may be components of the other products. For example, gates and shutters indicates the direct demand for houses. If the demand for the product is independent of demand of other goods, it is called autonomous demand. Next one, industry demand and company demand. The total demand of the product of a particular industry refers to a industry demand, whereas the company demand refers to the product of the particular company in that industry. For example, the total demand for the fans denotes the industrial demand. On the other hand, demand for any particular brand of fans like Usha, Polar, etc. is called company demand. Next one, short-run and long-run demand. Short-run demand refers to the demand for the immediate reaction to the price changes, income fluctuation, etc. Whereas long-run demand is that which will ultimately exist the result of change in pricing, promotion or product improvements after enough time to allow to let the market adjustment itself to a new situation. Next, joint demand and composite demand. The demand for one commodity leads to demand for another commodity is known as joint demand. For example, demand for ink and paper is joint demand, and demand is said to be composite when a thing is demanded for two or many other purposes. For example, coal, cement, rubber are the composite demand. Individual demand and market demand. Individual demand means the quantity demanded by the individual consumer at various price at a given point of time, and the market demand means the total quantity demanded by all the buyers at various prices. Thank you.